Well, how are you doing, Kenneth?
Good evening. Good evening, beautiful. So good to be here with you. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this with you tonight.
I am so honored to have you on the show. And for those of you that are not aware, Kenneth Drake will be my co-host at least once a month, maybe more on occasion. So we are super, super happy to have you jump on with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I can't even believe that I got the invitation. I'm so honored to be a part of this. And I've got some very big shoes to fill, though. I need to say a very special thank you to Christopher Brown, to Reverend Hesperus, to all of the legends that have been co-hosting with you. I'll try to keep up, I promise.
Wonderful. So tonight we have Granny Goth. She's a respected figure, a public figure in the Goth community, um, the vampire community, and the modern pagan communities. She's a professional tarot reader, a high priestess, pagan chaplain, birth and death doula. She has dedicated decades and decades to building welcoming spiritual communities as the producer of the renowned Rochester, New York Vampire Ball and numerous other goth events. Rauncie, or Granny Goth, brings wisdom, experience, and a passion for celebrating the beauty found in the shadows. So we are very excited to go ahead and welcome her on up.
Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, good evening, darling. Wow, I love you so much. May I ask the first question here? How is it that I keep getting older and you never age? How the hell?
I'm a vampire.
Well,
but I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
We couldn't tell one bit.
No, you are always pure magic. I'll never forget the very first time that I had the honor of meeting you at Salem Paracon in 2024. And I thought, my goodness, what is this magic? You are pure magic. Every time I have the honor of being with you, everything you do is pure magic.
Well, and I feel the same way about you. Absolutely. You are such your energy is so wonderful, so welcoming. Yeah. And the same for you, Raven.
You as well. And I'm so lucky that I, can call you my friend.
Aww.
So I want to start with a question for you. For those who are not familiar with it, can you describe the Rochester goth and nightkind scene and what makes it unique?
I would love to talk to you about Rochester. First of all, we're really, really lucky here in Rochester. We have a very strong goth community. We have not many cities have the kind of club that we have. We have a club here called Vertex. It's been around, I hope I get this right, for 30 years, 25 years at the current location that it's at. The owner of Vertex is this wonderful woman named Patty who cares about our community. And Vertex is my home, as far as the goth community. And we're just really lucky to have it. There are not many dedicated goth clubs in the US anymore. There are some, but to have one in Rochester, we're super lucky. And in addition to that, there are vampires here and other kin. And I have a group here that meets. And I also do the Rochester Vampire Ball, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. Yeah, so we have a strong community here, and we've got a lot of elders, which is really amazing. Yeah.
So many people tuning in to see you. I think there's some Granny Goth fans that are tuning in tonight. So many people being with us tonight.
Well, as I say on TikTok, I always say, greetings, baby bats and friends.
I love it. I love
Hey,
it.
Moxie.
So many people tuning in. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My goodness, they keep coming. They love you.
Love that. So
Thomas
speaking
Fendrick.
of the vampire balls, let's see here. Rochester has become a very unique home to some of those incredible gatherings. How have events like the vampire balls helped strengthen the community, and what can someone expect if they're attending it for the first time?
So the Rochester Vampire Ball started because of a tragedy in our community. We lost a beautiful young woman who was murdered in a domestic violence situation. She was one of the MCs for the Rochester Erotic Arts Festival, which is another festival that I helped produce and was one of the founders of, like 17 years ago, but it's still going strong. And when that happened, I just started thinking about what could I do to memorialize her, to remember her. And so I was sitting on my couch one night and I thought, we don't have anything like the Vampire Ball here in Rochester. I'm one of those crazy people who just create stuff. So I'm going to do this. I started the Vampire Ball in her memory, and made it partially a fundraiser. So we raise funds every year to cover a scholarship that Kelly O'May is her name, to cover a scholarship that her parents created. So it's a labor of love. And it's also an opportunity for people to come together. And I feel like, even though we have this wonderful goth club here, that there are other opportunities to bring people into the goth community that maybe have never even heard of Vertex. But if they hear about this vampire ball and they come, and then they hear me from the stage saying, "Oh, and by the way, go to Vertex," because you can do this every weekend. We get a lot of people coming because of that. And the second, well, maybe the second or third thing, I don't know where I'm at in this, is that it's really important to me that I am able to provide a space for people who need handicapped accessible places, who are in the goth community and in the vampire community and in the otherkin community. So the place that I have my events is completely handicap accessible. And so elders are able to come, people in wheelchairs can come. And to me, that's so important to provide that. And I want to continue to do that, to be able to, seeing people out on the dance floor in their wheelchairs just like made me so happy, because it was something that I really wanted to happen for our community. So, and the other thing is, when you get older, you don't necessarily want to wait till 10 p.m. when the club opens. And so my events start at 8.
Okay.
So we can come to my event and then we can go to Vertex.
That is so awesome.
That's a
Kenneth, do you have
genius
any
marketing plan.
questions?
Oh my goodness, so many questions, so many questions. First of all, it's such a genius, I think such a genius marketing plan behind that. But I have to ask, when we're speaking of the Gothic and vampire communities, how important has that sense of community been for you personally, behind the promotion, behind the marketing, just for you personally in your journey?
Yeah, it's a really important thing because I remember what it was like to be a young person and not have community and not have people like me. From the time I was very young, feeling like an outsider, feeling like I didn't belong. Um, and I want to give young people, older people, all people who feel the same, a place where they're accepted, where they can feel welcome. It's just so important to give that to people. And I also work at a metaphysical store here in Rochester. I'm retired from my job as an assistant dean. I used to be an assistant dean at RIT, where I am also a pagan chaplain. I still do the pagan chaplain, but I work at a metaphysical store and mythic treasures. And people have come in there before and said to me, "Oh my gosh, do you know that you were the person who made me feel welcome? You met me at Vertex and I was just, like 21, just turned 21, and you made me feel so welcome." And I didn't know that. And I was, it really touched me that what I am trying to do is actually working, that I want to be that welcoming grandmother, Granny Goth. Someone asked me, "Why do you call yourself Granny? Aren't you embarrassed about that?" No, I am not. I embrace my age, and I want to be that for all these young people.
Oh, that's beautiful. I feel the power in that. It's like you're channeling that. There's this form of just, I think there's something about just unapologetic self-expression that in itself is a form of high magic. And you have always embodied that, unlike, in ways that so many people aren't able to. You've always embodied that. And that is, such a testament to your heart in that.
One of the thoughts I had is, as a spiritual night kind leader, what is your viewpoints and your thoughts, I should say, on accessibility for sober community members?
Yes, so I can definitely talk about that as well. I am in recovery, and it's something that I share with people. I have 3 years, 5 months, and 13 days. And it's a long story. I'm not going to tell you my recovery story right now, but what I will tell you is I had a lot of years before that, and then I had a relapse, and then I came back into recovery. And I think it's really important for those of us who are in recovery, or people who just choose not to drink or do other things, to feel okay about that, to feel okay about being in the club and knowing that there are other people there who are also in recovery. There's something happening in our community. I'm seeing this all over the place. More and more people are becoming sober. A lot of young people are becoming sober. They're opening non-alcohol bars, which is exciting. I went to a goth night in Ithaca, New York that does not serve alcohol. And I thought, I wonder if anybody will be there. And the dance floor was full. And so I think this is really important because there is that feeling, because I remember when I went back to the club after I made the choice to give up alcohol, that I felt really self-conscious about it because I didn't have a drink in my hand. And, it's that being social, being like everybody else, being part of the crowd, doing the shots with everybody. And but I had a talk with one of my bartender friends upstairs at Vertex, and he said, you know, if people are doing a shot, I can just give you something that doesn't have alcohol in it, and then you can just participate. And I stopped worrying about it after a while. Um, yeah, so it's really important to have those opportunities. And I also go to Pagans in Recovery meetings, which is 12 Step for Pagans. And I recently joined the Rochester Ravens, which is an organization here in Rochester that does a lot of really great work. And I'm going to be doing Pagans in Recovery meetings there as well. So
That is incredible. That's amazing. Kenneth?
Just even as you're saying this, making me wonder, when you're thinking about the sense of, I want to go back to the sense of community, because it feels like there's this thread that everything that you do seems to inspire community in some way, and it's so beautiful to see that. And personally, I've shared this with Raven before, when I've had the honor of being a guest. I can so relate to that, in even in mediumship, in the very early days, being in the rural South. You're the strange goth kid in high school. There's nowhere else to turn. You feel so alone in the world, and there's something about finding your tribe and knowing that you're not alone in the world, and there's so much power in that. I'm curious, where do you see, if we were to look out, even with some of the changes that you're seeing now, community-wise, with so many new people being attracted into this beautiful darkness, what I call this beautiful darkness, what do you envision is looking like, even 5-10 years from now, as far as the trajectory of what's being built?
well, I feel like that our communities are becoming stronger. When there is outside pressure, when there is the fear that we may lose what we have, it makes us stronger. And I feel like we are becoming stronger and stronger. So I see in the future these young people who are coming up are going to, there's going to come a time when people like me are going to pass the torch. And I know that there are people coming up that are younger that are going to be willing to, you know, keep running, keep, you know, building events, keep opening their arms and saying, you have a home here. Um, yeah, I have a lot of hope for the future. I have a lot of hope for the future. I know a lot of people right now are afraid, and all of us are to some extent, but I feel it energetically that, you know, we are just growing stronger. If you try to tear us apart, we will just come closer together and just, you know, get stronger and stronger. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Would you say that in some way you're seeing in this generation that's rising up more of maybe a boldness that hasn't been there before, or a boldness that's, shall we say, more unapologetic in some
Yes.
way?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things I love about the young people is that they're not hung up on a lot of the stuff that we were. You know, I'm 65 now, and I can remember being super like, oh my gosh, I better wear the exact right thing. And you know, it has created a fashionista out of me, a goth fashionista,
Fabulous.
but I love the fact that the young people, they don't give a crap. They make their own style. They wear what they want to. And I love that about them. They are unapologetic about it, you know, and, you know, so things came along like pastel goths, which, you know, some of the old guard goths would be like, what? Not me. I'm like, whatever you want to wear, because, you know, the thing is, the foundation of our subculture is the music, you know, and how we are as people, the fact that we are a welcoming and and loving community. People are often shocked, people who don't know about the Goth community, the pagan community. They have these stereotypical ideas about us. But everywhere I've ever had an event, they always say, we never have any trouble at your events, ever. I've never had a fight at one of my events. Now, hopefully that'll, knock on wood, will never happen. But it's not like our crowd for that to happen. Occasionally things could happen, of course, but it's a different kind of crowd. And for the most part, you know, I think that people act in a manner that is, you know, makes you feel safe. And if they don't, Granny Goth will be there to say, you have to go because I'm going to protect my kids, you know? So, yeah.
As a pagan chaplain, you've walked alongside people through some deeply meaningful moments. How has that work shaped your understanding of service and community?
Yeah. So this is my calling in life, is being a high priestess and a chaplain. This work is at the core of who I am. And being with my students. So I am the RIT Pagan Chaplain, so I college students, but also to my community in general, and here in Rochester. You know, I do what any other, like a minister of a church would do. I go to the hospital to visit people. People call me on the phone when things are going on. I need to talk to you. And what I have learned from this is, if this is the road that you are called to, it's not about, oh, look at me, I'm, you know, the great high poobah. It's about serving. You know, you have to be able to put aside the ego and say, you know, I'm here to help you. What can I do for you? What I learned in my chaplain training, because I have been, I took a course to be trained to be a chaplain, and I've only done. You can do up to 4 of these, and I can't remember what it's called right now because my brain is all over the place. But I did my first unit at a local hospital. So this is to train to be an interfaith chaplain. And first of all, learning to work with chaplains of other religions is a big part of it, and understand each other, and being able to serve everyone where they are. And the biggest thing I learned was to listen. That's really what it's about. That's what people want. There's a program called No One Dies Alone, where you go and you sit with people when they are dying because they have no family. And really, all a person wants is to not be alone. And if you can do that, and sometimes it's just sitting in silence, you know, those are the quiet, to the side, not in the spotlight things that you do when you do this kind of work. And it's the work that I love, and, you know, what I want to continue to do. That and being a birth doula. So I'm on both ends. I help bring babies into the world, and I also help people to leave this world. So it's that midwife of the soul work. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So many people tuning in. We have so many fans. There are so many fans of you. You've touched so much. I can already tell you've touched so many lives. Thank you for being with us tonight. My good, you're also fabulous. So many Granny Goth fans are still tuning in tonight. I can see.
Thanks, everyone.
They love you. We all do. I'm curious. You know, that sure takes my breath away, because I feel the power in what you're saying, and it's this otherworldly sort of knowledge that's so rare to see, not only in the Gothic community, but just in humanity in general. That what you said, as far as no one really wants to be alone, and
Right.
there's so much power I find just even in that, I'm curious, in your role as the high priestess, what would you say you've seen, or what is your experience in once the door is opened, when people are sort of turned on to this beautifully dark community, whether it's through the aesthetic, through the music, or just through the sense of the incredible night out, what would you say you see as sort of the experience that leads them into more of the spirituality aspect of this? And in the role of high priestess, how have you sort of bridged that to continue the community to still provide a safe space for their own expressions while saying, let's go a little further? What does that process look like for you?
So, as a high priestess and as someone who provides for the community things like rituals that people can come to, the Wheel of the Year rituals. I teach classes. I teach classes at Mythic Treasures. I teach a Witchcraft 101. And in that class, which is once a month, I talk about things like, how to create ritual for yourself, how to be a solitary practitioner, what is a vampire, all these different things. Every month I have a different topic. And so when people meet me at my vampire ball and they talk to me, one of the questions that people will say if they don't know me at all is this stuff real for you? And, what I say is, yes, this is real for me. It's not for everybody. For some people, it's just a fun night to come and get dressed up. And boy, if somebody likes to dress up, it's me. I love to dress up. But it's also like it's putting on something that represents who I am on the inside. So it's ritual robes for me. This is a part of who I am showing on the outside. And so, I encourage people, if this is something you're interested in, I recommend books to people, depending on what they're looking for. Are they interested in witchcraft? Are they interested in the vampire community? There's a lot of overlap, as we know. I just guide people in that way, or I send them to a teacher. I invite them to my classes. So, it's just my whole life. So it's what I do every day. Absolutely.
I love that.
I also do have things at my home, and that is by invitation only, of course, because we're talking about bringing someone into my house. And by the way, this isn't like a backdrop. This really is Raven's been here. This is in my house. This is my library.
It's my favorite place in your house.
Yes, Raven has been in this very library. And my house is also a labor of love because I have created a space where I can have salons and I can invite people to come and teach here and do things like that. So, that's for those who are really interested in going really deep into that. Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned being a death doula, and I'd like to touch on that a little bit because some people don't know what a death doula does or how they can be of assistance through the process of someone's passing. Could you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. So being a death doula is being someone who is being supportive, not only to the person who is passing, but to the family. So you're an advocate, you're finding out, hopefully a little early in the stage, what, if I was talking to you as a death doula, I would say, tell me what it looks like for you. What is important to you in this process? And the other part of it is explaining that process to people. What are things that are going to happen? Now, I'm not talking about medical things. That is up to nurses and doctors. This is all spiritual work. This is being supportive. being there, just like I said, when I talked about no one dies alone, being that person who is there to help that person pass or to help the family. I started many years ago working for hospice. At the time I was a nurse aide, and that's when I got my first experiences working with the dying. And I have been at the bedside of hundreds of people who have passed over. And it changed my life to hear the things that people said before they passed, to see people die a good death, not suffering. I love hospice. Hospice is such a great thing. And it is, I really believe this is what you must be called to. If you're going into it for money, and I say this because now there are very expensive courses you can take to become a death doula, and a business plan, and that's all good and fine. But what I want to say is, if you're going into this for money and just money, you should not. It's not what this is about. It's very deep spiritual work, and you have to have the heart for it. You will be carrying a lot of heavy stuff when you are doing this kind of work. Yes. And you're right, Kathy, it is important to be there for the dying. We live in a society where they want to put us in a hospital and pull a curtain and don't look. And, that's not the way it should be. We should be surrounded by people who love us, and not be afraid. Yeah.
It's so powerful, taking away the stigma,
Yes.
the idea that death is such a taboo thing. And it blends so beautifully with this beautiful darkness in some way, the mystery, the mystique, which you so perfectly embody. I'm curious, in your role as a death doula, not to in any way share the private experiences of people, but of all of the stories that you've heard, would you say that there is a common theme of what so many of these people in their experience are looking for? Something that you said that I thought was so powerful was, even in the beginning, in your introduction, we need someone to listen. So as you're listening to these stories and you're listening to what they're sharing, they want this experience to look like. I'm curious, without divulging too much, is there a common theme of what you would say most people want this to look like? Or is there maybe a question that's asked repeatedly over and over?
It's interesting when I watch the process of someone who is dying. A lot of times people ask me in the early stages about being afraid when the time comes. And we talk a lot about that. And what I have seen over and over again is, as the time gets closer, that people become more accepting of it and more peaceful about it. I've seen that so much. It's rare that I see someone fight till the very end. There just becomes this period where it's over a person, and it's part of the dying process as well. People get quieter, they stop wanting food, they don't want water anymore, and they just begin to turn inward. It's the natural cycle. So as far as what people want, that can be a lot of different things. Some people say, I want this music being played. I want certain family members with me. I will share a story with you without giving any names or anything like that, because it was such a striking thing that I just have never been able to forget it. This woman was about to pass, and she was at home, and all of her family was gathered in the room, standing around the bed. And it was very obvious that it was going to be very soon. And she turned her head and said to me, "Could you please ask them to go out?" She wanted to be alone, but she asked me to stay because I was her death doula. And so I said, "Could everybody step out in the hall just for a minute, so that we can do a few things to make her more comfortable?" And they went out into the hall. And I'm not kidding you when I say within a minute, she was gone. She wanted to pass out of this world without everyone looking at her. So though she wanted them there, it was like, it's such a private moment. And the fact that she was even able to say that to me was so striking to me. It was so important to her. She just barely whispered it. And then she passed. Yeah. I have stories. I have so many stories. But that one has really stuck with me. Yeah.
Have you considered writing a book on being a death doula?
I have considered writing my life story and putting that in there. Yeah, because there is a lot. Yeah. And sharing the stories. I mean, I have stories about spirits even, which is right up your all's alley. I was just telling somebody a couple of them today, about some really interesting things that have happened to me when it comes to spirits. Yeah. And when you have been with that many people, you can bet that some of them are still hanging around. So, yeah.
Because they trust you. You've been so
Yes,
absolutely
absolutely.
able to be trusted with them.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm curious, how would you say even some of these, shall we say, paranormal experiences that you've had, which I would love to hear, or I know that would be a best-selling book immediately. That would be a New York Times bestseller, hearing all of these incredible experiences. How would you say that has influenced the aesthetic for you in what you do? And in other words, one thing that I find is that there are so many people that are drawn to this beautiful darkness just because it's a beautiful darkness and it's so rare. How would you say that that's influenced you, even in your own journey, through fashion, through all of the aesthetic of it? Because and the reason I ask that, and forgive me if that's such a strange way to ask that question, you embody it all in a way that I so rarely see with people. And I mean that sincerely. You have this incredible way of embodying that in this complete package. And that's so rare to me to see that.
Yeah, I definitely can talk about that because I will say that when I was about 11 years old, this would have been in 1972. I was riding along in the car with my dad in a big old Chevy, in the back seat, and it was a Halloween night. And coming down the sidewalk was this woman, and she had on this. It was not a Halloween costume. She had this gorgeous vampire, like the old time movie vampire outfits, the long flowing, you know what I'm talking about, the black and white movies.
Mhm.
It absolutely took my breath away. And I thought, I want to be like that. I am like that. And I felt her spirit, and I can close my eyes and see her today because it was a huge influence on my life. And from that moment, of course, I loved vampires. I awakened as a teenager. Um, and and also the influence of like Stevie Nicks. I have always been influenced by Stevie Nicks. Love her and the way she dressed. And I just decided when I grow up, I'm going to be like that because I was raised in a very strict Southern Baptist home. My family's from the South, and that was not allowed. And this is another thing that, of being Granny Goth is on my TikTok, I've had young people ask me questions about what do I do? I can't dress like that right now because my parents won't let me. And what I say is, for right now, you need to do what you need to do. You're still living at home, but there will come a time, honey, or young man, or whatever you would like to go by, because Granny Goth will call you whatever that is and respect you, that you will be able to. So be patient, because inside you're already that person, and I remember what it was like to be an outcast, to be made fun of because I was a weirdo and have kids afraid of me. But I'm also, I will tell you, modern influences, practical magic, the ants, why wait? Wear your stuff every day. When I leave this house, I am always Rauncie. I don't, it's just who I am and who I want to be. Yeah.
Goodness, I knew I loved you. I've always loved you. That means that answer was even better than I could have possibly imagined. Because I know that you know what I meant when I asked the question. I feel that from you. I'm so curious. I'll just have to ask. Favorite Stevie Nicks song? That's it. That started sort of.
Oh my gosh, my favorite. That's really hard to pick.
I know. It's an unfair question. The reason I ask is I so relate to that in my own life, being from the South, the rural South. And I'll never forget when it was my dad who gave me my very first copy of Fleetwood Mac Live. It was the album The Dance, and I was in high school. And the very first time I heard the live version of Silver Springs, I was on my way
I love Silver Springs.
Funeral of a classmate who had died tragically. Just now coming into visions, all of these otherworldly things, didn't know what to do with that. And I heard that, and it was like, I've not been the same since. So what I find with people is that there's usually one turning point where it says, oh, you're mentioning this beautiful, fabulous, elegant woman that you saw on Halloween night. What would the music be like behind that? Or not only Stevie Nicks, but all other Gothic influences that have really inspired your tastes.
So I love the song Landslide, because there's just so much about that I relate to now as an older person. And as far as the music that I love, I am like all over the place. I have a deep love of The Cure, which, some goths will say, well, they're not even really goth. Well, they've been adopted. And I love Joy Division. I love, a lot of the old goth music, but I'm also loving a lot of the new goth music. I got to meet Goth Dad. I don't know. Do you all know who Goth Dad is?
Familiar.
I love Goth Dad.
I don't
know.
He
was in Buffalo. He's so amazing. They were in Buffalo. Now his band, he's got a new band now, and I can't remember what the name of it is. Please, if you hear this, don't get mad at me that I can't remember. But what was so wonderful was I went to see him in Buffalo, and I was in the crowd, and I told him I was going to be there. And as soon as he was finished, he jumped off the stage and came straight to me and said, "What did you think?" And I was like, "Oh my God, are you kidding? It was amazing." Wow. So then we did a TikTok together. It was so great. He's a wonderful person. So I love, how a lot of the younger people are really speaking up in their music. And so here's the thing. As a goth, it's not just about the aesthetic and all of these things. There's something really magical that happens for me, and I think for a lot of other goths on the dance floor. When I am on the dance floor, it's like creating ritual. I get into this. It's kind of hard to explain, but I see that DJ like a high priest or a high priestess who is sending vibes out onto the floor. And, you become like in a trance, it's just the most wonderful feeling. So for me, it's ritual. That is ritual, to be in that space with other people who are enjoying this music, and we're creating energy that's, yeah. You can cast some powerful stuff with that kind of energy.
I feel everything you're saying. I feel my soul relating to what you're saying. And it makes so much sense to me. I mean, you are such a pure channel, I feel, in not only just the impression that you're getting to be who you are, but by being who you are, it's working together to funnel and channel more into the world. And people are drawn to that, I find, like moths to a flame, that authenticity, where so many people are what would you say would be this fear that people have? Well, I know it's so much in programming and our program beliefs, whether it be religious beliefs, regardless of what those might be, or some of our instilled traditions. What's the pushback been like for you? Because I know you've had some pushback in your journey.
Oh, absolutely. I have definitely had pushback, and it's from people who don't understand what I'm about or understand what all of these things I'm a part of is about, because I'm not just involved in, I'm involved in the witchcraft community. I'm involved in the vampire community. I'm one of the producers of the Rochester Erotic Arts Festival, which is part of the BDSM community, which is, all these things that I'm a part of. It's because people don't understand. And sometimes people don't want to know. They don't want to hear what you have to say. So, the person who comes at me and is like, well, do you know about my religion? They're asking me this. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. I was actually raised in it. But it's not for me. But I'm okay with you being what you are. Would you like to hear what I am about? The answer is usually no. They don't want to know. And oh my gosh, yeah, I have to say this. Somebody said, my friend here, DJ Energon, the high priest of dance. Absolutely. It really is such, yeah. I couldn't help it. I saw that, and it's so true. But and now I got lost. I also have ADHD, by the way, so it's hard for me to stay focused. But yeah, what was I talking about?
So many people tuning. You've got these fans of yours just keep coming. Love you all. Thank you for being with us tonight. They just keep. You've got a lot of people that love you. Hi there.
Well, I feel really, really blessed. I will tell you, because sometimes I have to pinch myself that I am lucky to be able to live this life. I am lucky. I'm lucky to be alive. For the people that don't know my story, someday maybe I will tell it. But I'm lucky. I have 6 grandchildren. I have a great grandchild now. I've had a good life. I've had a rough life when I was younger, but I clawed my way out of it. I'm a survivor. And that's why I'm able to tell other people who are suffering that you can, and I'll help you. I know how hard it is. And it's not to be taken lightly when people are suffering. And I understand. So at least giving someone the opportunity to share their voice and be heard, It's just so important.
As you're saying that, I think of something that you shared a moment ago when we started the show. Even at some of these events, someone comes up to you and they ask, "Is this real to you? Is this really who you are?" And it is so obvious that this is who you really are. It is so obvious, and I believe there are people out there tonight that are watching this that are being inspired to be who they really are tonight. And I feel that all the people tuning in that are so touched by you, you've already made such a lasting impact on so many people. And I feel like that shift is happening where people right now are watching this, whether it's tonight or 10 years from now, they're going to go back and see this and they're going to say, it's okay to be who I am too. That's so powerful. That's so powerful.
That I would say, if I was going to give advice to anybody as an elder, is to be yourself. Because at the end of the day, you know, you're with yourself when it comes right down to it. You know, this is your best friend, you know, and allow yourself to be who you really are. When we are spending our lives trying to please other people at the expense of our own heart, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that we have to be like completely selfish. That's not what I mean. I mean, you have to, yes, Christy, you have to be true to yourself. You have to do what's right for you. And sometimes that might mean walking away from someone. Sometimes that might mean, you know, doing things that, you know, feels, okay, I am a very, very sensitive person. It hurts me when I have to walk away from someone. But sometimes that's what we have to do to save ourselves, you know, and to think of ourselves, because a lot of us can give and give and give and give and give. And then people start expecting it and they will take everything you have, you know. You have to save enough for yourself. You have to save enough for yourself and be who you want to be, wear what you want to be. I mean, wear what you want to wear. You know what I'm saying? You know, get the crazy hat with the little demon in it. By the way,
I love that.
I love it.
Steven Tyler has the same hat. And I was like so excited when I saw him wearing it. Yeah. So yeah, just be yourself. You'd be a whole lot happier.
Where can people find you? Like, what kind of events do you have coming up in the near future to where they can connect with you a little bit more?
Okay. Yeah. So if you're in Rochester or anywhere close to Rochester, New York, I am having an event on August 29th with my partner in this, and that is DJ Energon, who's been working with me since the very beginning. And it is called Badlands. It is a post-apocalyptic goth industrial event. We're going to do like the Mad Max thing. I can't wait. My costume is amazing. And so that'll be one of our goth nights. It's at the Montage at 8 p.m. And then we are doing a Halloween night event. Halloween's on Saturday this year. It's going to be a big one. And that's at the Montage too. And then every year we do a Krampus ball. So if they go to my website, which is rauncie.org, when you go up in the top, there's a little thing that says more, and you'll find City in Dust. That is the what we call our little company where we make all these events. You can see what's coming up. And then I'm Rauncie Reynolds on Facebook. I am on Instagram, I_am_Granny Goth. And on TikTok, I'm Granny Goth, though I will tell you, I don't do a whole lot on TikTok anymore, but I'm starting to get back into it. I'm so old. This is hard stuff.
You are timeless.
Really?
You are eternal.
You do it wonderfully.
Absolutely.
TikTok drives me nuts, though. I'm trying. So yeah, that's how you can find me. And also on Facebook, we do have a City and Dust page, and there is also a Granny Goth page. It's Granny Goth Rauncie. So, I have several Facebook pages. You can find me pretty easily.
If you were to give one message out to people who are potentially part of the night kind or part of or our other kin, and they are searching, what is one message that you would give them?
Well, first of all, you're not alone. And there are people like myself, like Raven, like Kenneth, who are out there. And, the best thing to do is look in your local area to see if there is some kind of an event where you can meet some people in person. And if you can't meet anyone in person, there's also ways to meet people online. Reach out and, send me a message. I'll help you find somebody. I'm really good at that. I don't know. There's something about I'm good at networking and finding somebody. So yeah. And I know it's hard sometimes to come out of the shadows.
I remember what it was like when I was younger, and I wish I would have had a granny goth to turn to at that time when I was figuring everything out. So
Yeah.
thank you for everything that you do for the community.
Well, I just want to thank the community for allowing me to do this. I feel incredibly blessed, and I don't take any of it for granted. Every day that I am able to live and breathe and continue to do this, I'm really grateful for it.
We are so grateful for you. And may I just say, I adore you. I adore you. You are the embodiment of this magic to me. And I am such a,
Well, I adore you too. Just so
I
you
am
know.
such a fan of you. I'm such a fan of you. And I've loved you before this, but everything that you've said tonight, I feel it. And thank you. Thank you for existing in this world. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I miss you.
I know.
It's been a month and I miss you.
I miss you, Raven. I'm going to come to Salem and see you.
Good.
I'm going to come and visit you. Absolutely.
I would
So many events coming up now. Raven, I have to ask. Now, is there also an event that we are supposed to announce tonight with you and I?
Yes.
I'll turn this over to you, my love, because I think that this is a big announcement that you were going to make tonight.
Yes. So September 4th, Kenneth, myself, Stacia, and Thomas from Wardruna, which we're all of us that are going to be running this event are part of, are going to be doing an overnight investigation and seance at Wilson Castle. And you will have the opportunity to go to a seance. You will have the opportunity to investigate. You will have the opportunity to be a part of a gallery that we're all doing together. And we are so excited. There's information coming for that. We're going to be posting up details. We're super excited to be able to have this as an opportunity for people to join. And for those of you that are interested, we're going to have dinner as well available. So you can get it all in one place. So I'm very excited and honored to have Kenneth and Stacia and Thomas doing this with me. It's going to be tons of fun. Come September 4th and watch for the advertising.
That's right. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for the honor, Raven, of letting me be a part of this incredible Thomas Patrick, Stacia Wells. Come spend the night with me, darling. All night at Wilson Castle.
All right. Gwen, would you like to join us, my dear?
Hey guys, great show and great guest. I've been sitting back here just like, when I was a kid, I wanted to wear black and of course, I live in the South, Kenneth. I know you know what I'm saying, and I got
I get it.
Yeah. Even back then, I didn't really care, but just because you're in that little community, and I'll tell you, I'll tell my story for real quick. Years ago now, I said, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks anymore. And you know what? I'm living my best life. And I hope for other people they can do it a lot sooner. I do. And people like
That's
you
so
make it happen,
important.
and you and you and you. So yeah, so this is our people. This is our thing. So yeah, this has been great. I agree, Kenneth. And I saw the tears, and you see mine too. So it's okay.
Oh, I feel it. Yeah, I love her.
Thank you all for letting me be here. This is great.
Oh, this has been great. This really has. So, well, guys, if you're ready to sign out, do mention that Kenneth is coming back, Raven, so everybody knows what to look for.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you. First of all, thank you for putting up with my psychotic ass and letting me co-host.
Oh, we're so happy to have
The
you.
honor is mine. Thank you. So I'll be with you once a month. And that special thank you to you, Raven, for even extending this great honor. Also to Reverend Hesperus. And I got some very big shoes to fill, but I promise you I'll do my best. So thank you for having me.
Also, it should be notated in other special announcements that Reverend Hesperus is going to be coming on as my permanent co-host for the show. So when we have Kenneth Drake, then that'll be wonderful. But then Reverend Hesperus will be with me, so you'll start to see some changes on the show a little bit, but it'll be wonderful.
He
So
was fabulous, by the way. I was saying before the show began, I got to tune in for part briefly for the Father Sebastian show, and he had this wonderfully ornate fan, and I thought, my God, I love him.
I can't wait for you to meet him.
Can't wait. It's going to be fun.
I get to meet him in New Orleans, so that'll be cool too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So we're all getting around, but I'm gonna pop out, and you guys end it up, and we will see you next time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everything. And we're going to go ahead and see you all next Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, with Reverend Hesperus and I. And we have a new special guest coming, which will be announced very shortly. So thanks for joining us and have a fantastic night.
Thank you.
Bless your sweet dark hearts.